Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened for Deku. After learning that Ultron is really back, Deku found the AI Jocasta. And after Friday tested her to see if she was clear of Ultron's influence, clear of Ultron's data, Deku decided to use her as a new operating system for his armor. He knows that she is a personality construct based off of Hank Pym's wife, and that means quite a bit. She can help him track down Ultron because she would know how he would think. She knows how Hank Pym thinks, and that does help quite a bit. And the best way of saying it, Deku is trying to play 4D chess with Ultron, doing things he would not predict, like working with a team, Spider-Man and Kamala Khan, or Pete and Kamala. Now, Deku and Peter were friends back whenever everything went down. The world went to hell, and these two dived into their superhero work. They often had a little bit of team-ups, here and there, though nothing really too major. But their friendship, it still took form. Deku knows Pete, and the two have a few things in common. They're both teenage superheroes who've lost a lot. And that brings people together. That brought the world together. Everybody lost everything. The situation with Thanos, Deku is putting on hold himself. Right now, Reed Richards and T'Challa are working on trying to build a device to track down the stones, while he's taking a backseat to try and stop Ultron again. Without a vibranium body, it's possible. Without an army of robots, it should be possible. Without Ultron having a few things, it's possible. But that's the problem. Ultron already had one robot built, and Izuku is pretty sure he built another one. He doesn't know if Ultron 4 has been built already or is being built, but he knows that there is something out there. And using his Mark 1 Model 4 armor, he needs to take it down. This low-tech suit might be the best thing against Ultron right now. Since Deku, he's being very unpredictable with technology. And Ultron, he likes to know his own variables. He likes to plan things out accordingly and know what he's diving into. That's how he tricked Deku in the first place. Because Izuku, he used the latest and greatest technology. And that's why he decided to come back to his old armory. Now, Deku, Peter, and Kamala. These three do land at the armory. And Deku, he does express to them. Right now, him walking up to a door and bringing his hand up. Them looking around. And they see this place is an old, abandoned factory. This is where you started out? Yeah, it's owned by Stark Industries. Now Deku pulling his hand back, after typing in a code and scanning his hand, expressing, I'm going to turn. The place is all low-tech. It's pretty well hidden, and people haven't been around here for a long time. Besides, he made a lot of modifications. Anyways, I'm going to turn, as right now, the wall does begin to open, and that floor does begin to move down. I'm going to walk inside, and the two, they do to turn their heads. Them going to follow him, and Deku does it express, walking to that old room that they've got a lot to begin to work on. He needs to look into the data on Hammer Industries. Until then, how about they make themselves at home? Pete should be familiar with the workshop, right? He's assuming, I'm going to turn, that he's got... You don't know how to use some of this tech in here, I'm assuming. I mean, I know how to use enough of the wrenches and stuff like that, but you're being more technical than I am used to. Okay. So, some of this stuff is old, yes, but some of it was brand new whenever I started out. Here, come over here. Deku walking him over to the 3D hologram projector, as he's gonna bring his hand down and tap onto it. Right now, Peter gonna watch as the hologram does a shoot up and show an Iron Man armor. Deku bring his hand up and swiping it away. And this, it is a bit more intriguing. And Peter, he does stare on at that, as Kamala does try to ask what that one was. Hmm? Oh, I never gave it a model number. I think I based it off of the Mark II, the Mark III. God, it's actually a really old suit. Yeah, now that I think about it, I built that one over 3 years ago. That was my spacesuit. Going forward, I kept a lot of the ideas, a lot of the designs, and a lot of the elements. But airtight suits, oxygen supply, emergency backup power, you name it. Going forward, that set the standard, and it saved my life whenever Ultron shot me into space a long time ago. You were shot into space? Deep space. But yeah, my stealth armor I rebuilt. And speaking of stealth armor, I might need to call it down. Okay, Pete, here's how you do this. Right now, Deku bring his hands up, and showing him quite a few things. Currently, Deku bring his hand up and putting it down and into a gauntlet. Him gonna turn his hand and express to Parker. Him turning his wrist and showing that this stuff is somewhat solid. And Peter does stare at that, as Deku does move his arm off of the projector, and it does go to move through his arm. Deku gonna express. Right. So all that should be solid right there as long as he keeps his hand hovering over the area. Everything should be fine, and he can basically design anything. I mean, even the most intricate little moving parts. It's how he designed the Mark 6 and the Mark 5. Really? Yeah. But if you're gonna go for something smaller, scan your hand first, and it'll create a construct of your arm. Then just begin to make patterns with your fingers. What do you mean? They're going to turn and bring up a device. Go to Express. Okay, it's like this. Scan the materials you have, and it will put them into the system. And then you can actually start to mess around with and create. I mean, you can also put a spider logo in there. Are you serious? Yeah. Listen, I'd love to help you with that more, but I got some stuff to do. Right now, I'm going to turn. Walking over and going to sit down. Bring his hands up and onto the computer. As Deku, he has to close his eyes for a second. Right now, him going to begin to look into a lot of data. Now, Deku, he does begin to talk to Friday. Him trying to tell her about a few things currently happening. They brought themselves back to the armory on Earth. He's got to check a few things and make sure that everything is okay. But he does want her to send down the Mark 7 Model 2 armor, the stealth suit. If she can do that, then he's going to look into Sasha Hammer a bit. And with that, it should be okay. Something is clearly wrong with Miss Hammer, and it does have him concerned. If Ultron knows about her previous involvement with his life, she could be in danger. But fact of the matter is, she should be okay. She does have Detroit Steel blueprints. She has tons of information and data. And, well, there's one thing that he saw that was weird. She never mentioned him by name. She never said the word Izuku. She never mentioned it. She thinks that he killed her grandfather. And while medical records do show that she was institutionalized, he's not so sure. They could be falsified or created as some part of a plan against him. Or, no, that's very unlikely, Izuku. He wouldn't work with a human. Sasha Hammer does provide psychological warfare, ammunition, but Ultron would rather shoot him into space again. Hell, he'd probably rather try drinking coffee than actually trying to work with a person. And that'd probably fry his insides. Right. Okay. So, what can they do? A techno virus was how they beat him the first time. But another virus? No, no. That won't work. Okay, the Model 7. Okay. The stealth suit does have the techno integration system. So, if he can run into Ultron, he can break him down. Break down the metals and put them into the stealth suit. But that does have its own flaws. If he does do that, Ultron could just take over the armor, have a better operating system. He'd basically be handing him a walking upgrade. Or, no, no, okay. Yeah, he could pull out the Mark 6, but that should be if things get really bad. The Model 2 for the Mark 6 is definitely an improvement over the first one, but still. Okay, just keeping both of those around in the background in his pocket could be a good idea. Okay, Zaku. What to do, what to do. Now, Deku is running through a ton of things, and currently, him and Friday are working in tandem to try and scan the Earth. And Deku, he currently does fly through the internet, his mind racing, and he does have a lot going through his head. As you know, Deku, he does get a bit of a sharp pain. I'm going to actually turn and bring his tip to his nose. Ow. You alright? Yeah, sorry. My concentration just broke. Your nose is bleeding. They could bring his hand up. Oh, that's weird. Whatever. That happens sometimes. But it hasn't happened recently. Okay. Right. Um, where was I? They go turning back and trying to think. Going to tell Joe Costa that right now he wants her to work with Friday. He wants them to do a few more things. Open up the network and use the data footprint they found of Ultron and scan the web. Tell them what they find. And keep additional findings cataloged next to it. Don't activate immediate alert, nor data response retrieval. Catalog and notify him after the scan is complete. And Reno Friday and Jocasta do both understand. Reno Friday going to do things manually from a talent, using the satellites orbiting Earth, while Jocasta slips directly into the internet. Her trying to do things a bit differently than Friday. Now, this is quite the dilemma. And currently Deku, he's a turn. Him sitting there, I'm going to stand up, walking into the other room, and going to bend down, opening a cabinet and pulling out some tissues to wipe his nose. Him going to turn and walk over, opening the fridge and finding... Yeah, no, most of this nose is probably bad. Close that. Okay, I'm going to turn and walk out. Right now, Pete going to stand there and staring at a gauntlet on his arm. What are you doing? Sorry. Just messing around a bit. But this doesn't look too bad, does it? It's a bit too bulky for you. Sure? Sort of. Along with that, I thought you used your wrist. I did, but I'm just trying to think of alternate designs. Not bad. Then again, that makes it a target. What do you mean? I'm assuming that if you're going to have things on your forearm like that, you'd want to have an entire system. Like a body harness. Think of it this way, like an exoskeleton. Especially if you're going to be swinging around the air. Yeah, there is that. I definitely would want that. Right. Along with that, you'd want something that would allow you to use less force in your swings. I'm assuming with your abilities, Pete, you have to exert yourself quite a lot physically. Yeah, I do. Then again, is it really that wrong to just have something like this? You're asking me. Yeah, I guess you're right. Anyways, just an idea. Right now, I'm gonna bring his hand up, grabbing something off of it as Deku's to see parts of the hologram fly away. Right now, Pete gonna turn and toss them in the trash can. And Deku, he doesn't see him begin to remodel and remake some web shooters. And this is quite a bit interesting. Right now, Pete, right now in the zone. And Kamala, she does sit there, trying to observe this. And she even does try to ask Deku about exactly what they can do for her. Hmm? Yeah, you said that my abilities would be good. Needed? What can I really do? Um, how good is your stretching ability? It's pretty good. Why? Okay. I'm gonna try and design you some armor, and it could take me a few hours to make. For right now, though, just if I need your help, please tell me something. All right? I gotta work with materials that need to be stretchy. Hmm. This is a bit more of a problem. I mean, if I make just regular armor, you could use it like a. How far can you stretch? Um, a good distance? Why? Can you compact yourself? What do you mean? Like a turtle shell. Or like a turtle going into its shell. You are not making me armor like that. No, I'm just asking. I need to find and design a better costume, though. Hmm. Let me make you a battle uniform and see how we go from there. Reno Kamala, a bit more annoyed. However, she does understand. And Deku, he does get to work on that. Now, Deku, he does begin to use material around the workshop to actually create a few things for both Spidey and Kamala. And right now, Deku, he does have a little bit of fun with this. He does make them helmets. He does make them some more tech. And he does even give them proper armor. Spidey, he gets a more durable and armored suit. And Kamala Khan, she gets something similar, along with actually a visor and something that will allow her to see the same way Deku does see, a holographic screen in front of his face. And Deku, he even is trying to talk to the two about a few more things. And this, it does begin to take shape. Deku has a small little team here. And right now, Spidey, he does begin to mess around with his newly designed web shooters. Since these things are a hell of a lot more advanced than his old ones, and with some actual proper Iron Man touch, it does get what it needs. Though the web fluid, it's, it's a little off, but it still does work fine. I'm gonna fire something out. And Deku, here's a turn watching a web hit the wall. And that does stick there. Handling it to several webs and going to turn. How long should that stuff stay there? Maybe a few hours. I don't know. This is a new recipe. Though they usually tend to be biodegradable. Usually tend to be? Yeah, yeah. I'm still messing with a few things, though. We got my stuff done. What about hers? Dago turning his head and going to somewhat express. Hers is a little bit more tricky, but with the newly designed suit, it should stretch with her, and it should work. Her going to actually look at Deku and bring her hand up. Her going to stretch it out as the suit does do so as well. And Izuku, he does get somewhat smile. And Kamala does bring her hands up, talking about it. Oh yeah, look at her. Gotta say though, this is definitely a bit intriguing. Can't say that she likes the helmet though. Yeah, well, the armor does come with a shield. Spidey, your suit has one as well. You serious? Yeah. The small of your back. Uh, right there. Deku turning and bringing up his hand, expressing, "This is where the shield is hidden, so be careful on that. Also, do be aware. Trying to deploy it could be a bit tricky. I mean, he thought about just keeping it inside the wristbands, but let's just say this is a secondary precaution." And Kamala does get bring her hands up, going to ask where hers is. And Deku, he would go to express. Hers is actually a bit more by her belt. And it's easier to say it like this. It's on the front of her belt. And Curly's going to look down, bring her hand down, and going to tap the two buttons. Her going to activate it. As right now Deku, he does begin to see the pattern take shape. And she just won't stand there. Deku going to tell her to turn it off. And she will going to do so. Now, there actually is Vision. Vision has been listening. These last couple hours, it makes him intrigued. And right now, Kamala Khan just wants to laugh. As Spidey, he does go to express. Okay, so they've been working all day and trying to figure a few things out. It's kind of nice. So, how about dinners on him? What are they thinking? Pizza, some sandwiches. It's his treat. How about that? And Deku, he does go express. Chinese food does sound good. Oh, it does actually. Right. I can swing over and go get some. You sure? Yeah, it's no big deal. Though, if you did want to, you can head out and go get it. I can just give you the cash. Yeah, I'll be back soon. I can do that. How about, or how about this? You said you've always wanted to try on my suit, right? Shut up. Pete, I'm being serious here. Stealth suit's right there. Well, Peter going to turn his head, staring at the suit of armor. I mean, in theory, he could rip it apart. It would just take a solid punch. But actually putting this thing on? Oh boy, this is a lot like Christmas. Now, Kamala does watch Peter get inside the suit as he does try to ask about how exactly to move in this thing. And Deku would express. Miss Costa will get him up in the air. Once that's said and done, she will give him step-by-step guides. In fact, she can even turn on simulation mode. It's how he actually does practice for combat. There's a simulator in this thing. It's easier to say it like this. She puts up obstacles on screen. I avoid them, and that's how I get so good at flying. Along with that, in proper controlled conditions, you can basically turn it into a VR video game. Are you serious? Yeah, that's how I actually got good at combat. Along with part of how I trained on Attilan. Right. Uh, but I'll be back soon. Just hello? Yes, I would be Jocasta, the operating system for Izuku Midoriya's Iron Man suit. You're currently in the Mark 7 Model 2 stealth armor. Capabilities do include. Okay. I get it, but we're just trying to get some food real quick. Could you get me up in the air, please? This process is viable. However, it will take extreme measures to currently do. Do you allow me to take full operation of the suit? Yes. Now, Pete, he currently has to turn his head. Him a lot more alarmed. Okay. Wait, hold on. Right out of the suit, gonna walk him to the exit and blast him off. And Pete, here's a fly upwards through the armory. Him flying to the top and out. As right now he does somewhat scream out with pure absolute adrenaline. Since this is a lot different than flying through the air. And Deku, he just don't sit there. Kamala is starting to laugh. As Ultron, he does have a bit of a sinister smile. And Vision, he does sit there. Right now, him going to cut contact with Ultron. And Ultron, he does not believe it. It will be so easy. They get taken down, and then he takes over the world. Though, if that's the case, he should go talk to one of the Avengers. Hulk, Bruce Banner. Banner is a threat of his that he cannot face. Take down Banner, Hulk is neutralized. That's that. The best way to do that, Reed Richards and Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards, is in Wakanda. T'Challa is in Wakanda as well. So their movements are not good. Getting inside of Wakanda has proven to be impossible now. Shit. Okay then. So, while two of the smartest men in the world are busy in Wakanda, how about he turns to somebody of a higher power? Right now that going through Ultron's mind. And Ultron, he currently does bring up one of the Infinity Stones. Him going to look down and smile. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that is a good point to leave this off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.